Did you know the days are actually counting down for us to potentially have a shipping crisis in our nation? You may not get the packages that you want or desire, at least at the time frame that you're used to getting them. Now, I've seen a few local news networks that have posted videos on YouTube that have discussed this looming strike. This sounds like it's limited to UPS. Well, let's dive into why, even though this is a UPS issue, it really becomes a ground shipment issue for all the different companies that are in the industry. All right, so diving in, why does this crisis matter than previous times? Okay, so there's 340,000 UPS workers that could go on strike as early as July 31st. Now, without even having to look at how many UPS workers that truly is, we can all agree this is a major issue that's obviously going to affect UPS workers in almost every single state. I doubt that it's concentrated and it's exempt from a whole lot of areas. Okay, so 97% of people in this union, Teamsters, voted to basically go on strike and begin negotiations. Now, the negotiations have kind of fallen off track with UPS. All right, so when UPS last went on strike in 1997, the New York Times reported that the labor stoppage created myriad inconveniences, large and small, for companies and consumers across the nation and largely crippled the company. It lasted 15 days before the delivery company acceded to many of the union's demands. Now UPS workers are slated to strike again at the end of the month, and if they don't come to a union contract agreement, then they will strike. If they do strike, it could be a lot worse this time around, putting even more pressure on companies, consumers, and UPS. And then this is the main reason why. That's because the economy a quarter century ago is entirely different than now, one where package delivery is more important than it's ever been. Okay, so this is the first article, by the way, that I've seen outside of the mainstream media that kind of goes into why is this even an issue. The main reason why this is an issue is because our economy today is based upon one in which most people are ordering products online and they're getting delivered via ground shipment. This is just common sense stuff. Well, doesn't that just give more business to Amazon Prime delivery or to FedEx Ground? Well, the issue is that now you have a major player who had a large market share of this shipping industry. All of a sudden now, they're out of it, right? Because they're on strike, and for the most part, the network is just completely not working. So that means that there's an influx of people all of a sudden, when you talk about small businesses outside of the Amazon network, that all of a sudden need FedEx accounts, right? They need FedEx to come to the rescue, and they need to switch away from their preferred UPS account and move over to FedEx, right? Well, FedEx obviously likes this. But even FedEx is warning us about potential market disruptions in the shipping industry. And let's look at that. Okay, so we are at FedEx's website, and you see here right at the top, it says, protect your business from potential industry disruption. Of course, FedEx is urging everyone to set up an account as soon as possible. So obviously this is good for business. But notice the very first sentence, in the event of an industry disruption, okay? And then it says their priority is protecting capacity and service for existing customers. Now, this is good news for the business that I work for. We've had an account with FedEx Ground and FedEx Freight for over a decade. In fact, well over a decade. And in fact, this is going to be very good if you already have a FedEx account, because if you're also using UPS, now you're going to switch a lot more over to FedEx in order to process these orders. So FedEx is going to get a lot more business just from their current customer base. But now they're going to have an influx of new people. So they are encouraging people to become customers of FedEx as soon as possible, right? Because there could be a huge influx. And by the way, this is already hurting UPS just from a company standpoint and looking at competition. The fact that as a customer of UPS would not know what is going to happen to my delivery of my packages and my orders come August 1st makes me start looking into FedEx and other options in order to ensure that my orders get delivered to the customers. It's all about delivering to our customers. And so if that is not going to be a feature of UPS, if they're they're not going to ship packages, then they're not really that good to any of us. And so we have to protect our own. And in today's environment, again, a quarter of a century since this last happened, we realize that we're in a much different position than we've ever been before in needing to have ground packages delivered. And so we could end up seeing a very big disruption come August 1st, and one that has bigger impacts than we all realize. One in which, if you have a company that solely uses UPS, they can't get their products to you, and they're trying to open up an account with FedEx, and there's long delays in getting your orders. So you could definitely see a lot of back orders and a lot of shipment delays. Now, when it comes to Amazon, one thing that we need to remember with Amazon is Amazon actually processes many of their orders through third-party sellers, right? So third-party sellers put the product on the platform, and then they process them either using the Amazon fulfillment centers, or they may use UPS, okay? So those third-party sellers may ship it right from their warehouses, and many orders are actually sent out UPS. In the case of the business I work for, we actually use FedEx and UPS. We're a third-party seller, but we have our own warehouse, and we fulfill the Amazon orders all on our own. So this really isn't going to affect us much, except for the fact that we do use UPS sometimes because they have way better prices on certain deliveries. Well, obviously they won't be an option come August 1st if they go on strike. So those are the types of situations that we're going to be in. Even Amazon orders, at least some, a large portion of Amazon orders that are normally filled via UPS will be delayed by what is going to be happening. So what is the potential impact? We have no idea, but we do know that it could be much, much worse than it was a quarter of a century ago whenever this happened last. So what can we do to prepare? Well, I would say there is a large list of things that you can do. And actually, I've written a newsletter to my customers that I'm actually going to make available for you as well. If you're a purchaser, whether you're a purchaser or just your household and keeping up with supplies there, or whether you're a purchaser for a business and you're looking at what strategies you can take and implement in order to try to keep your business covered, I do have some tips to offer you with a free email. And you'll see that in the description below. So that's all I have for you. We really don't know. As we get closer to the end of July, we'll know more about whether we're actually going to go into a strike period in which UPS operations are basically stopped. So we'll see. It could potentially be very bad news, and we'll just hope for the best and hope that everybody on both sides, the company and the workers, come to some sort of agreement that they can all be happy with. Y'all have a great day. God bless.